Welcome back to Oak Grove College. We are again in the garden, and today it is a
sunny day.
Is that good?
Yes.
Because it's been raining all week, so we haven't had many sunny days in the garden. There could be some snow this weekend, maybe. So, what are we going to be doing in the garden today?
We are going to grow some potatoes.
What are potatoes, Toby? Is this a potato? Is it the same as a seed?
No.
It's not. We call it a tuber. Okay. A tuber is a bit of the stem of a plant, but it gets very big, but it likes to be deep in the ground, in the soil to grow. So we need to get our potatoes ready. What do we use potatoes for? Making
chips.
Chips. What else, Toby?
Crisps.
What else?
Mash.
So we can use potatoes for all sorts of things. Shepherd's pie, they're a very useful plant to have, and they're quite easy to grow in your garden. We need to get our potatoes ready to go in the soil. You can buy bags of potatoes. Some potatoes are early, some potatoes are main potatoes that go in later. We need to get our potatoes a bit like this before they go in the soil. We need the stem to grow, and we need some stem and roots and some roots to grow. Our potatoes at the moment don't have any, so we're going to put them into some trays, and we're going to balance them on trays like egg boxes to see if we can help the potatoes to grow. So Toby and Luke, could you take some of our early potatoes and put them into the tray, please?
So, if you are placing your potatoes in the tray, you need to make sure that there's little green bits, teeny tiny green bits sticking out, and you must place that this way, or otherwise the potato won't grow. Also, if you leave a potato too much in the light, it will be green. It will be poisonous for you, so you could get a tummy ache, and if you eat a really green potato, you could be sick. But don't worry, we'll try our best not to make it go into the light.
Do you want to put a few more into the tray, Toby and Luke?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
What you do at the moment is called pitting. It's where you're putting your potatoes and you encourage them to get growing before you put them in the soil. So you're looking for little green bits that will grow up. And when you've got your tray ready, we need to put them into a coolish, darkish place.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry too much about the green potatoes at the moment. That comes later when they really become alive and start growing as potato plants.
We're going to put these in a dark place.
Why don't you use a saloon behind you?
Yeah.
Also, it needs to be very cool and cold.
5 or 6 weeks later, you should begin to see some growth. These have got quite a lot of growth on them. That means they're ready to go into the soil. We need to put them into quite deep in the soil to grow. So our main job is to dig a trench in the garden. So this is our pretend bed today, and we need to dig a deep trench to push the soil to one side and go deep into the soil.
Also, there is something you should know about the potatoes. When they are growing, when you see a little root sticking out, you need to make sure stem sticking out. You need to bury it in soil, and bury it until it's a flower. And when the flower grows, you know it's ready to use and cook. But before you cook it, you need to wash it because, you know,
It needs to be cleaned, don't you, Ronnie? You need to wash the potatoes we have. The first potatoes, you can normally just wash it under a tap and get them clean, and you can almost eat them without having to peel them. You can have them fresh with the early skins on. The older potatoes get a tough skin and they do need peeling.
So, you need to put your potatoes in the soil, but before you do that, you need to get a dibber, or you can use your spade, and you go press down as hard as you can, and put the potato in. And also, your potatoes need to be spread out or socially distanced by your hand. I think that's too, yeah, okay. So, I'm just measuring with my hand.
That's looking pretty good.
Yes.
Do you want to earth up the soil now over the potatoes?
Roger that. Okay.
You can use your trowel to help. You can use the soil on the edge of your trench as well, Toby and Luke. So that soil can be earthed up over it as well. Make sure you bury your potatoes deep in the soil. The stems need to disappear underneath and to make a nice trench going over the potatoes, nice and high.
Okay, so you need to have a garden. If you don't have a garden, you buy a potato sack. If you don't have a potato sack, you can use an egg box. If you don't have an egg box, you can use anything which looks like a tray, but the walls need to be quite high.
What do we do if we don't have a garden?
Use a old bag but put holes in the bottom.
Toby, do you want to put some holes in?
A potato sack!
You can actually buy special sacks already done. If you don't have a garden, you can use a potato sack. Your potatoes go in the bottom and you fill it with lots of nice compost, making sure the stems are sticking up. And then as your potato begins to grow, you can add more soil and your potato sack begins to grow. When you see your stem again, you put some more soil in and it begins to grow until eventually your potatoes are buried deep in your sack, and then your stems can grow, and we're looking out to see the first flowers, because when you see the first flowers, you know that your potatoes will be just about ready to pick. You can leave them for longer, but the first flowers are the first clue that your potatoes might be ready.